initiative, but as a high connectivity between Africa, Europe, and Asia, we need to renegotiate and redefine time over time the project from the European and African perspective too. The essence of this project is connectivity, but multi-connectivity, multi-dimensional connectivity. Today, we stress on infrastructures, economic platform side of the project. Infrastructures connection, economic platform, policy making, finance, it is great. But it has to be also cultural, social, and entrepreneurial project. Because it has to be the connection of entrepreneurial ecosystems of 3 continents in order to invent sustainable and inclusive development and promotion of what I would like to call new humanism. From this perspective, we can see the project as interstate entrepreneurship, but we need still to develop a synergy between private entrepreneurship, educational entrepreneurship, cultural entrepreneurship with interstate entrepreneurship. The second message is about missing pieces. European perspective is one of the missing pieces because especially German and French politicians and intellectuals see the OBOR initiative as an acceleration of China's influence in the new global order, especially as the Chinese strategy to overcome about their overcapacity in the industry, steel, cement, and aluminum, but also as a project of safety and security of energy procurement of China. That's why Europeans are a little bit skeptical. But at the same time, we need a perspective, European perspective, of the connectivity between 3 continents. Why it is very important? I would like just to stress one point because I can talk about hours and hours about this subject matter. But Europeans have to integrate in their vision one thing. Africa today is 1 billion inhabitants. In 2050, they will be 2 billion, and 2100, Africa will be more than 4 billion populations over 11 billion populations. At the same time, one thing is very important. Where is the gravity center of the world economy? Yes. In 1980, it was somewhere in the mid-Atlantic Sea. Since 1980, it has been emigrating consistently toward the Eastern world, Pacific world. Where is it today in 2016? It is very close to Istanbul, in the eastern part of Bucharest in Balkanic countries. It will be flying in the next 5 years over Turkish sky and to land into between China and India in 2050. So for European, it is very important to rebalance the center of the gravity of the world between Pacific Sea and Atlantic Sea. And Europe cannot do this without 2 things. First one, without taking into account 4 billion of Africans who will really stretch again the center of the gravity of the world toward the west, toward the Atlantic. This is the only way for Europe, really, to stretch again the center of the gravity toward Atlantic. And second conditions, without the role of the intermediary region is center of Eurasia, There they are two big powers, Russia and Turkey. And Russia and Turkey have to play the role of the bridge between Asia and Europe. And it is very important. Where is European vision taking into account these two factors? I am asking you, we have been still waiting, visionary politicians, but we have to wait for Godot for some times. So I would like right now, it is time's up, to switch to the third point. I will jump about the African dimension because you listened to me. I think I talked about the African dimension for Europe, but there is an African perspective for Africans also. It is very important. Just I would like to tell you one thing. For Africa today, one thing is very important. Africa has been emerging, really, especially in the area of frugal innovation. Frugal innovation means innovation and entrepreneurship at the bottom of the pyramid for low-income people having less than $2 per day of revenue. And African entrepreneurship from this point of view have to be linked strongly to Asian base of pyramid entrepreneurship and to European entrepreneurship in the area of healthcare, biotech, nanotech, and so on and so forth. The latest point, too, maybe it is more interesting for you, it is about Turkey. Turkish role. What could be the Turkish role in the New Silk Road process? There are 5 items that are very important for Turkey. Geographic situation of Turkey, it's obvious. I don't want to talk about this. But the second point, maybe you are not aware in Turkey, as I told you, global economy center of gravity right now has been flying over Turkey. And Turkey, it is the time for Turkey to take advantage of this situation, logistically speaking, but also industrially speaking. It is very important, this shift. And third reasons, Turkey had been great mediator between different cultures spread over the Asia, Africa, and Europe. Fourth factor, don't forget one thing, the world needs the stability, political stability. Muslim people are spread over 3 continents. And Turkey, at the hub of this 3 continents as a Muslim country, has a big role to play. And finally, Turkey has to take this opportunity because Turkey is as China, India, Brazil and Mexico is in the same situation. It is the key issue for this country is getting out from the middle income trap. In order to get out the middle income trap, we need to switch from made in Turkey to innovated in Turkey. And in this shift, I think the new Silk Road will open a lot of opportunities to Turkey. So Turkey can roll an important role in this process under 3 conditions. The first one, Turkey has defined its role as the regional political stabilizer. Turkey's role should be stabilizing regional political as a medium regional power. The second condition for Turkey, Turkey has to build up entrepreneurial educational hub in Istanbul to bring together different models of innovation. European model of innovation, Asian pattern of innovation, and African frugal innovation. My observation in Turkey especially, Turkey ignores strongly frugal African kind of social entrepreneurship. It is highly ignoring here, really. This is an invitation. And then the last one, increase the soft power of Turkey through exemplarity for Muslim populations spread over 3 continents, and also to build up a strong role from the Central Asia to the Balkans through Turkic populations. It is not a haphazard that Xi Jinping, in 3 or 4 years ago, he started his project, OBOR, in Astana, Kazakhstan, Central Asia. Because it is very strategic for China to create the corridor from Central Asia through Pakistan to the Arabic Sea, on one hand, and different corridors that our Secretary of Minister talked about, medium corridor from Central Asia to the Europe through Turkey. So the role of Turkic Muslim and also there's a language relations between this will be key in this process. And how Turkey can play a key role between these populations, it is very interesting. I was in my campus, Casablanca, several weeks ago. It is very interesting. African students, especially Moroccan students, told me, hey, Mr. Atamer, we have been learning Turkish, do you know? I asked, how come you are learning Turkish? Yeah, because Turkey, we love Turkey. Turkish language is as important for us as French and English, because Turkey is a role model for us. Why, I asked them. Their answers were very interesting. Because we become peaceful with our self-identity. We want to be Muslim, but at the same time modern. And Turkey have been demonstrating this consistency between the modernity and Muslim religions. So as a result, Turkey, in order to be able to play the role model over these populations, has demonstrated in the next years that democracy and Muslim religion are suitable and consistent. As far as Turkey will be able to play these 3 roles that I played, and in the process of building up new Silk Road, the opportunity for this country will be great. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your very rich presentation and rich and deep messages. Now, very happy to introduce Mr. Sultanov, who is heading a very important project. But Mr. Sultanov, I would like to remind you that we are under time constraint. We are supposed to stop 8 minutes ago, so I know that your presentation is going to be within 5 minutes. I am sure, because we need to be polite and courteous for the coming speakers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
We're going to cross to the Silk Road, by the Silk Road to lunch, so I will be really fast.
And please,
it will not take me
yes.
years, it will take me a couple of minutes. So just why we still remember the Silk Road, it's because of Marco Polo and other traders and travelers famous for crossing the Silk Road. So I would like just to make a few remarks on what is Silk Road for me personally. I was born in Moscow, but I was born in a Tatar, so Turkish-speaking family, a Muslim family, and so it was for me normal to be already like a kind of Silk Road traveler. Then I worked in Europe for many years, in Italy, especially in Italy, the birthplace of Marco Polo, and then I was following infrastructural projects all across Eurasia, and especially one of my projects is Beijing-Moscow project, the high-speed Eurasian corridor we launched a few years ago through the signature by 2 presidents, by Mr. Xi Jinping and Mr. Putin, and so what we thought about making all these infrastructural projects, we thought that actually the people we are meeting can contribute with their ideas, because Silk Road is not just trading or making infrastructure, business, and so on. It's also ideas. And a combination of ideas we try to move with, creating this beautiful white book. It's a white book called White Book on the Future of Mobility in the METR region. And METR stands for Middle East, Europe, Turkey, Russia. So we created this Metro of the METR white book with leaders from business, politics, social organizations, intellectuals, and financial institutions. And creating those ideas, following those ideas, we came to the idea of actually one of the ideas coming from this white book was an idea of a map. And actually the map is what we need always for our journeys, for our travels across Eurasia. So we created this map. It's a high-speed metro map that will unite Asia with Europe. And it's available on our website, and you can always test it, just clicking, and it's interactive. And you can understand how it will be easier the life after this great infrastructural project of a new Silk Road will come into operation. Just an easy thing I did, my personal homework before coming to this stage. I made a calculation of how long it will take from Istanbul to Rome in the very next future, in 15 years or so. And it will be a little bit more than 2,000 kilometers, and it will take you about 7 hours. So you can start your journey in Istanbul, have a breakfast in Sofia, in Bulgaria, have a lunch in Zagreb, and then have a dinner in Rome. And the next day, just come back to Istanbul. So it will change your lifestyle, and it will change the lifestyle of all Eurasian people. So when we introduced this idea to the international panels, the mayors, who are actually the heads of the stations, because the stations on this metro map, they are cities, and the mayors said, why not to promote the idea of a forum? So we created a forum in Turin, in Italy. It's called Railway Silk Road Cities Forum, and it's now more than 50 cities inside this organization. And we expect actually Turkish cities also to join the forum, especially Istanbul. We are coming to this week. We are coming to 1 year of operation of this forum. So we have a headquarters in Italy. We have offices in Chengdu in China and Moscow. We have more than 2 big projects already launched on passengers floor, like I said, high-speed corridor Moscow-Beijing, and we have a couple of freight transportation projects. We call them container trade, so like a kind of caravans, freight caravans passing from one city to another. And those two projects are launched between European cities and Russian cities and Chinese cities. What are the results? Another result is a launch of a new white book. It will be called, as always, Metro of the Metro region. Metro region, don't forget, it's Middle East, Europe, Turkey, Russia. Cities as stations of this new high-speed metro. So I would appreciate Mr. Cengiz's participation together with his team, with Mr. Ahmed, with Mr. Ergin, and other partners from Bosphorus Forum in the new edition of the White Book. And after this panel is over, I would like to hand this, the first edition of the White Book to Mr. Cengiz. One of the concrete results of our project was launching real infrastructural and trade projects. And I wanted to stress my attention on what Mr. Suat Khairi Aka said in the beginning of this panel. He said about the beautiful infrastructural development in Turkey during the recent 15 years of the leadership of AK Party. And I would like to stress that actually, instead of the past when geography was determining geopolitics, now it's infrastructure and communications, and so the development of Turkey in this way is quite important, and Turkey is starting to dominate this metro project practically, and we would like to stress your attention on three benefits on three results for Turkey that could be achieved through this project. One is image.
Yes, please, could you, because I think you had
I'm finishing.
Many minutes to introduce this specific project. Please conclude in 2 sentences because it's becoming
I just will hand this. Will hand this.
And we are going
project
to read
presentation that we
will
prepared
visit your website. We promise. 2 sentences.
I just will hand this project presentation we made with our colleagues from Bosphorus Forum to Mr. Suat Khairi Aka, and that's all.
Spasiba balshoi. Thank you so much. And now I have no time to conclude. I just want to thank you, Mr. Sultanov, Professor Han, Madam, you came from Malaysia to present today. It was a long trip, and Professor Tuğrul Atamer. Thank you.
Panelists, thank you very much again to our moderator and our panelists. I'm sorry you had to rush a little bit, but we are running behind. May I please kindly invite Mr. Cengiz Özgencil, the founder of International Cooperation Platform, to present the plug of honor to our moderator and our panelists for their participation.